Hey everybody, it's Andy here, aka Montolion. We're back for another Vintage League, and we're going to be playing a little favor today, some Cradlevine. This deck's been out of style for quite some time now. Basically, with the rise of Jewel, really made this deck difficult to play. And you may ask yourself, well, why would you play it now with Jewel being as popular as it still is? And right now I feel like the two most popular decks, at least the last week or so, have been Jewel and as well White Initiative. And of course, there are a lot of Luris blends in there as well. But I do think that this deck actually does have some chops against Jewel. Collector Oof is still very good. People, first of all, are not expecting this deck. Collector Oof is still very powerful against them. Not to say it's going to beat them. I still have Force of Vigor's main. That is my interaction. Bauble is a very popular card right now, and I think that this particular build can get around Bauble, but I'm going to come back to that in a minute. We also have in the sideboard, we've got Questing Beast to be able to get around the main way that we lose to Jewel, which is the trigger from the One Ring, and Questing Beast gets around that, and you would be surprised how easily this deck can actually produce 4 mana, despite it is a stretch to some extent. I've also got 4 Mind Ring Traps in the board to help with that. Now, going back to Bauble, I think Bauble is absolutely everywhere right now. And people may feel more secure going non-leyline route and having baubles in their deck and executing their plan because, of course, bauble does hurt this deck to some extent because it gets my 8 root walls and my hollow ones. So I have gone a little bit backdoor, hoping I don't see leyline nearly as much, and I've got 4 Bloodghast and 3 Poxwalkers to help circumvent bauble because even with these getting countered, it obviously brings back Vengevines, and now it brings back Poxwalkers and lands, bring back Bloodghast. And I think that sounds pretty good to me right now. I'm not sure that whether this deck's lack of counter magic is going to be a big boon right now, but the other main reason that I'm bringing this back is, one, I'm trying to articulate that I do have some game against Jewel, but I think that this deck is really good against White Initiative. Back at the rise of White Initiative was also at the height of Cradlevine, and I had a fairly consistent high win percentage against White Initiative. And not to say that this deck can't lose to it, because it certainly can, but as you can see in our board, we are certainly ready for some big turn 1 plays from them. All of these free creatures and recursion get around being able to steal the initiative from them. And of course, Poxwalkers is a big one because that will trade profitably with every creature that they have, with the exception of Archon and the Seasoned Dungeoneer, because we're unable to block it. But anyways, that said, I don't want to deliberate too much on a well-known archetype, but I've made a little bit of changes to this deck. We are going to run the one Life from the Loam to help give us a little bit of bizarre recursion, that we've got some discard equity as well as finding whatever land it is we need. I am not going to play the red Mox for the Blazing Rootwalla. Once again, we're trying to minimize how much we get affected by Bauble, and really, I don't need the red Mox that much. It does occasionally help spur out a turn 1 collector. But as always, guys, do appreciate you hanging out. Like, comment, subscribe. We'll see you round 1. Okay, here we are in round 1. We won the die roll. Yeah, this is a really nice hand. I have missed Cradlevine. I'm cautiously optimistic it is good right now. Ooh, we hit the Chalice. So sweet. Okay. I am going to play out Mox here. There is some argument for keeping it for discard, but I mean, next turn we're going to be able to pump our Basking Root Wall and use Life from the Loam. I think it's fine to play the Mox out. Gives us a tiny bit of Tabernacle protection. I guess if the Chalice resolves, we don't need to worry about turn 1 Golos coming down, but it is not an unreasonable thing to put into play. Because we're going to be hell-bent potentially next turn. And having played Bug Czar recently, the Bug Bazaar deck, it's so nice to feel the consistency of a deck like this, where it's just got really solid discard equity, whereas the Bug Czar deck is really awkward in that way. So let's see here. This is a strong start from us. And hopefully they just wasteland us. That would be so sweet because we're going to be able to just bring back the Bazaar. The swords. Preordained. Okay. Let's see what we can find here, folks. Poxwalkers. Not bad. So I do think it's reasonable to Bazaar here. Yeah. Collector Roof is really strong here too. Yep. Okay, heading for some good damage here. Collector Roof is going to keep them fair. And next turn, I think we dredge. Bring that back. See if we can hit a couple lands. Or what I could do is just Bazaar it and upkeep. Yeah, I think I like that. Discard it, and then I can naturally draw it. Okay, so we're not seeing a Lurrus. We see blue-black and a preordained. I think it's reasonable to surmise this could be Doomsday. Of course, it could just be a frog deck as well. It's hard to know. But I think given no Lurrus, it's probably likely that we are playing against Doomsday. I don't know if I want to bring in Mindbreak Trap. Maybe I can just hedge a bit. Let's try this out, guys. And one of the nice things about this is I am able to cast my green spells. So I can hard cast Vengevines. I can hard cast Force of Vigors. The Vigor does not need to be a free card. So how do I feel about this hand? I've got a Mindbreak Trap. I've got a Vigor, a dead card, and Bloodghast. We could just do better than this, almost assuredly. I'm going to keep this one. Now we're going to put the powder away. It's a little bit of an awkward hand in the sense we've got just the Bloodghast here, but on top and bottom. Okay. Quite content to attack my opponent's mana base here for now, building up some cards I may be interested in discarding. Oh, we're playing Scam. I'm going to continue to attack my opponent's mana base for this turn. I did find another card I'm interested in discarding here, so that's pretty good for me. Oh, it is Doomsday. Okay. Did not find a mana here. I am not going to play around Tabernacle of Pendraveil here. can probably discard Boseiju there, the extra Boseiju. I think it's unlikely my opponent has a Wasteland or a Strip Mine to attack my Bazaar, but I would be grateful to have the extra Bazaar if they did do it. So not an overly exciting turn, but we are going to get a Bloodghast in next turn if all goes well. Okay, my opponent has missed a game. I do think we want a Bazaar here. I am expecting this to be forced. But we're hopefully good on the other roof. Resolving the Oof is quite powerful. Okay, my opponent has done pretty well at combating my spells here. Double Force. One. Dark Ritual. Yep, and I will 100% trap here. No days. Yeah, okay. So that one worked out pretty good. So we're drawing here. Okay. Would have been beautiful. We had a Bazaar in hand. I just don't think this is powerful enough. Did not win the die roll here. Could change that claim to a Grafdigger's Cage. My deck, though, is a little more vulnerable to Grafdigger's Cage than previous builds of Cradle. But having some extra game against Oath, Dredge, that sort of thing is not something to be balked at. I mean, we got to get going here. I am definitely petrified of Oath of Druids here. I need to find a Boseiju pretty quickly, if that's the case. But given enough time here, my Hex Drinker is going to be really strong. Okay. Let's see if we can fade an Oath here. Or a Show and Tell for that matter. I don't even know if this is Oath, but oh, okay, maybe not. That's good for me. Lorem revealed? Nope. Okay, this is Bug. This could be Bugzar or it could just be Bug straight out. I'm gonna get going with my beat down here. 8 damage there, yeah. So this is one of the two aforementioned decks. I cannot presume that it is actually bizarre. Regardless, will bring in some dismembers here. And I also don't think Force of Vigor is really where we want to be in these matchups. I think we could consider a Questing Beast regardless. Does deal with Planeswalkers, Oko in particular, which both the aforementioned decks run. I think we could probably cut a Bloodghast here. I think I'm going to try this. Yep. So we did get hosed pretty good there. Leyline is not good for the build I'm playing. And I took my Vigors out. I could wait to try and find Boseiju here to start attacking the Leyline. But I think I just really want to deploy my plan here. If they wasteland me here, I can live with that. Of course, I guess I could have discarded the Life from the Loam instead, but no, is this going to be a frog? Bowmaster, okay. So Bowmaster is one of the reasons this deck went away. It has been definitely on the decline of late. Unfortunately, I think I need to gamble here and start pumping this thing up. Or they might just force a will it here. But this is where I'm at. Hexdrinker is traditionally a very strong card against Bug. And if I can get this thing out of range of removal, it's pretty good. Okay, they just had it. So probably getting close to scooping here. So next turn, I can get this thing out of removal range. And hopefully they get themselves locked here. Okay, that's not a black source. That's right, okay. So I'm not in a position to currently race. I mean, just the fact we're even in this game is fairly remarkable considering how bad our hand is shaped up. Like the ley line was really good and the Bowmasters blew us out pretty strong. This could be an Oko and probably just concede to Oko. Okay, Bowmaster, look at them. They should have, I guess they can hit me for 3 here doing that. Yeah, it's pretty good. Okay, it's now saying, but we are losing pretty badly here. I guess the Vengevine can help. Is Tarmogoyf? Psychic Frog, that's pretty bad for me. I mean, we just got to do what we got to do here, guys. We're under a lot of pressure. This thing is going to hit for 4. Just got to try and do something here now. We're going to be put into some bad blocks here, but we do have to try and win with that frog on the table now. Let's give it flying. Yeah, the frog's just going to kill us here. So this is, it's very interesting because this just looks like Alberto SD type bug frog bowmaster type deck. Bowmasters are really challenging on my list. Pretty much dead here. Okay. Give it 5, 6. Will they give it flying? I don't think I have a way out of this. I'm facing lethal and I'm only hitting for 6 next turn, so I don't think we're going to get there on this one. But we're going to draw and see. Like Leyline of the Void, Bowmasters are really tough on my deck. Yeah. So they can just discard a card to give it flying next turn. Okay, I got that one. Okay. Do something like this, guys. Chalice is fairly low impact in the match, but making them play fair, it is actually a thing. So they have ley line here. It's pretty good against me. See if this gets through. And hopefully they wasteland my Bazaar. Like hopefully they let this resolve and wasteland my Bazaar. Okay. Not optimal. Hmm. So let's see if they flash a Bowmaster. Yeah. Oh, Ancestral Recall. Well, it's time to get going. Pretty brutal. Okay. I'm not saying I played that one optimally. I didn't really want to come off the Dismember, but I can't sit around against this deck. Bowmaster is pretty brutal, but yeah. That was a good draw. Love to have that Hex Drinker, but yep. Like the timing of our bazaring maybe hasn't been perfect here. Like drawing the Dismember off the top was certainly lucky, but I could wait on the Bazaar, but my opponent's tapped off of casting another Bowmaster. I really want to be proactive with it. Yeah, like see where they're just like so many Bowmasters here, right? And it will be hard for me to beat this card. Probably could have bazared there looking for a root wall. All right, they got us. Yeah, this is strictly just a byproduct of Bowmaster was just too good for us there. Bowmaster has been on the decline significantly in the metagame recently, and it's what makes this somewhat viable, but as you can see, it just ruins what I'm doing. Okay, guys, here we are in round 3. Our opponent is a Oath player, typically. I would consider this if it had a Besage You. Much better. We got the Vigor and the Besage You here. So if we can find a creature that will come into play, I think we're in good shape with this. Like next turn we'll get the Blood Gas, but that's not enough to pay for Besage You. My opponent realizes what we're playing here because of the powder. Love to get a Root Wall or a Hollow one. Oh my gosh, I don't have a Bazaar, guys. I thought one of these was Bazaar. Oops. Okay, well that's going to lead to a game loss, isn't it? You can see that how that looks like a Bazaar, like the color of it. All right. That was a great draw. Other than that, I got my Besage You. So it's not a great draw. Yeah, we're pretty much dead here, guys. There's not much I can do. A game-ending mistake, making the wrong mulligan decision there. I'm going to show the Poxwalkers. Yeah, they have an attracts. Okay, that's enough for me. So I'm going to bring in a Nature's Claim, and I think that's about all I'm going to do. I could see a slow game with Loam doing some damage here. I do like get Blood Gas more than I normally would, just being able to turn on a Besage You. This can get through. Loam is the odd man out here. Let's see how this goes, guys. Oath is a really tough matchup for this deck. Okay. Let's see if we can find a Root Wall or a Hollow one here. Root Wall would be pretty sick. The most important thing is that we get this Vengevine going here. There is a world where we need to keep that for a quick Oath of Druids, but let's assess what we get here. I'm absolutely for the beatdown plan here if I'm able to execute it, but if I see that's not great for me. See, these decks do have a miser strip mine in them. Okay. I don't really have the luxury of farting around here. I think I just have to get going. And if they do have the Oath of Druids with a counter spell here, I still have the ability to look for a Boseiju. Look, this is not necessarily optimal, but this is what we're doing. Let's see if we can get this to work, guys. It's pretty sweet if it does, and it does. Love a wasteland. Yeah, well, we're going to get Bizarring here. Okay, this will bring back the Poxwalker. And that will allow us to hardcast the Vengevine and get the other Vengevine into play. So this is pretty sweet how this is going to work. That was a powerful turn. Okay, good. Now, of course, we're up against it here on the draw. I have since made changes to my sideboards since starting this league, and I have put a third Boseiju into the sideboard. There is a world where you can side in Dismember for Resolve to Traxa, but I feel that that is just a really low percentage thing to do to try and win, because once the Atraxa triggers on the stack, they're just going to have so many cards in their hand that you're just never resolving the Dismember in the first place, is my feeling. And if you can, they're just going to redeploy another one from what the cards they got. This is a nice looking hand. I really like that I have the Nature's Claim here. We're obviously soft to show and tell in this particular circumstance, but uh-oh. I don't like seeing that. Show and Tell is the card that scares me the most here. Yeah, Oath, okay. It's bad. I think what I have to do is I have to Wasteland to take them off Flusterstorm here. Recall. Now to cast Lotus. I'm going to Nature's Claim. And I'm I'm going to play a Hex Drinker and get going. You see, we don't have the luxury of sitting around with this deck of not playing a creature out for fear of oath. It doesn't work that way. We only win through attacking. And so hopefully they don't draw well off their oath here, and we can just start beating them down really hard here. We have to Bazaar. We got to start trying to win here. I could play around Tabernacle, but I don't think that that's what we need to be doing. Poxwalker comes back in. And we got an option to try and find a Boseiju next turn. We'll hit for 3 here. We also have Force of Vigor and Loam that we can pitch. Not likely to result. Boseiju is the much better draw here for us. Okay, Show and Tell is really scary as well. Oh, please strip me. Yes. No oath. Okay, no oath looks like. Did they removal? Sword straight up. Nice. Solid hit here. Next turn we can Loam again. Give that guy a bit of gas, and yep, it's game. I guess they can technically still Show and Tell here. Oath of Druids will not do it. Okay, really nice win for us there. Okay, here we are in round 4, and we did not win the die roll again, but we do have some interaction, Force of Vigor. This time we will not make a mistake of keeping a hand that has no Bazaar. This deck can keep hands without Bazaar 30% of the time would be my guess, and be able to have a viable chance at winning. But doing what we did there previously, thinking I had a Bazaar in my hand, that hand was hot garbage with 0 chance of winning. Okay, Polluted Delta, Black Source, Underground Sea, Thoughtseize. Okay, well that's going to get my hollow one here. Going to take an opportunity to Wasteland here. Still have Force of Vigor up. And we got some good discard equity now, and 2 Wallace will be happy with that. Oh, they're Druids, eh? Chalice. Don't mind Chalice. Let's see what we can do here. Great. And I will play out the Chalice here. I have enjoyed Poxwalker this league. Poxwalker for me came out when Bazaar was starting to go on the down low a little bit. Orcish Bowmasters everywhere type thing. So I haven't played with it as much as I'd like, but I feel like, as I mentioned in the intro, Leyline of the Void is a little bit on the low end of things right now, and as a result of that, I think it is more viable than it has been previously. Bloodghast, Poxwalkers, like a little bit more graveyard reliant. Not to tone that Leyline is not out there, because it most certainly is. Okay, so we got rid of a Tinker and a Force here. Have a pretty good clock going. We just need to be able to resolve our Force of Vigor on a... Oh, they might have a show and tell here. That could be bad. Yep. Oh, Flash. Okay. Well, that's not the end all be all. Hopefully they cannot resolve an Oath of Druids here. Oh boy. Okay. They will be able to resolve an Oath and probably protect it. They only have one blue card in this pile, though. They end up keeping here Lotus, Strip Mine, Oath, Force. Yeah, I mean, we'll have to see if we can resolve it. I don't know if the last card in their hand was a blue card, but if it's not, then I feel like we're going to win this game. If it is, it's pretty bad for us. We're going to need to find a Beseiju. But we're going to do the best we can here. Okay, awesome. And they conceded. Okay. Oh, we would have hit really well there. So they would have just died. We'd hit them for 4, 7, 8, 9, 10. Then 6. Yeah, we still could have died to a show and tell, but we'll take that. So I think we want Nature's Claim. I don't know. The figures actually seem like they're pretty important. Chalice probably just is not what we need to be doing on the play. I think this is reasonable. Look, I know that they have Leyline of the Void, and we could shave down some. On Bloodghasts, Poxwalkers, but I don't think that's what I want to do. I like this hand because we have a quick Nature's Claim if we need it. Got some good discard equity. This could be a quick show and tell. I'd prefer it to be probably an Oath of Druids. Yeah, it is. Okay. Love a Force of Vigor here. Black Lotus. Emerald. Just is what it is. I would prefer to play face against Force of Negation than against something like Flusterstorm when they untap. Just going to be proactive and do this now. They're having a pretty good game this one here. Okay. Sage was a really good draw for us. So we're pretty vulnerable to show and tell still, but between Mana Crypt here and us having a Boseiju, Furnos, or Druids, we might have enough time to be able to close this one out. We might need some help from that Mana Crypt. Let's go to here. So Flash is pretty scary here. Show and tell, yeah. Show and tell's definitely one of the ways we lose this one. Can't really beat a Resolve Atraxa here. Sweet. Do I want to spin my Bazaar to see if I can hit another root wall and be able to get this Poxwalker? I think it's probably worth it. Sweet. That was not to say this is going to get us through this, but this is really powerful what we were able to just do there. And so now what do we want to sacrifice? We're certainly sacrificing Bloodghast and Basking Rootwalla. Poxwalker does trade. Hexdrinker, I can get that thing up to sand level here pretty quick. But I kind of want to sit on Boseiju here, right? The thing about the Hexdrinker that is nice, okay, I'm going to get rid of the Poxwalker, is that is one of the few ways that I can get through an Atraxa. I'm not there yet. Okay. So a bit of a mistake for me there. Because I would have preferred to have the Poxwalker because it dealt an extra damage. But I'll get my Bloodghast back here. I'm just going to play the Boseiju out. That time has passed me. And yes, they can cast a Poxwalker or whatever and trade with one of my things here. It's a damn nice draw. So they can get their own hollow one. Do I even care? I don't think so. Like, can I just leave this thing? No. And just one of the things that is really nice about my deck is that having things like Gaia's Cradle and Yavimaya Cradle of Growth really open you up to a world that the other Bazaar decks are unable to compete against because Tabernacle is just not the stone cold end of your tournament or of your game, excuse me. And Oath of Druids is not good enough here. Okay. Beat Oath of Druids twice. I think that's not that likely to happen, but I can dig it. Okay, here we go. Round 5. Let's see if we can sneak out a 4-1 here. Did win the die roll. This hand doesn't do anything. Gonna powder that away. This hand, however, is pretty good. Hopefully we can get our Vengevine going here. Might be a bit of a tall ask, but any Root Walla or Hollow One will do it. Opponent has mulliganed. All right, let's see what we can find here, guys. Okay, I do like the Cradle. Do I just let this Bazaar go? It's that or the misstep. No need to wait here for the Vengevine to try and animate it. It's just not worth it. We got to get going. I really was tempted to get rid of that other Bazaar, but I don't think this hand in itself is powerful enough to be able to win a game. So we are going to need a little bit of help. Okay, Wasteland. Fair enough. Wasteland go. Okay. That was great. That was a great draw for us. So I will Bazaar again. Just perfect. Next turn we can get the Collector Roof going. Okay, Concession. I don't know what my opponent's on. Their most recent deck list that they were on a week ago was Shops, but I have noticed that they do have some versatility. And it was Aggro Shops. Don't know that we want all our ley lines, but this, like Aggro Shops, is where these Poxwalkers and Bloodghasts actually have some pretty good utility. Maybe could cut those guys. Need to cut 2 cards. I think that the oofs could be good. They've got things like Walking Ballistas on their deck, and they've got Unlicensed Hearse and cards that can hurt me. But we do need to make 2 cuts here. I think this is what I'll try. They have Leyline of the Void. Okay, this is an easy powder. I mean, I don't even know that they're on Shops, but they did have a top 8 with it recently, and we saw Wasteland from them, so you can surmise that it is Shops. This does have a turn 1 Force of Vigor into Nature's Claim. These are 3 dead cards, though. We have to powder that. No. Jeez. Okay. Against my better judgment, I'm keeping this thing. Yep. See if they just. I hope they slam the sphere here. Oh, that's not good. So we're in a pretty bad spot. Obviously, you're not happy to do that, but it just is where we're at right now. And hopefully my opponent doesn't have any gas and we can buy a couple turns to be able to find ourselves into some lands. Factory, eh? Wow. No play. Awesome. I'm not going to strip mine a factory. Now, if we can find a Yavimaya Cradle of Growth or Ibiseju, we can actually slam Collector Roof or Life from the Loam if we so choose. Okay. It's pretty bad for me. Like, we kept this pretty lousy 5-card hand, but it had a plan to it. And my opponent, had the right answers and the Worm Coil and the lands to execute it. They did miss the one turn, but let's see if we draw a green source here. I don't think it changes much, but okay, Bloodghast. We can scoop her from there. So Chalice comes back in. More about executing my game plan here than these longer game defensive things. Okay, let's see if we can get a better hand here. Yeah, that works. It's not incredible, but it's not terrible either. I do like this for the Vexing Bauble. We got at least one card we want to discard, and hopefully we can find. It's too much to ask for a Poxwalker and a Root Wallet, or a second holo one. Okay, they're down to 5. Okay, ostensibly down to 4 because the ley line doesn't look great right here in this particular circumstance against me. Oh, how nice is that? So we could keep this for force of vigor, but I don't think that's actually where we are. Look, if they've got a tabernacle and an aggro shops deck, if that's indeed what they're playing, we are going to lose. But we also will win if they don't, with all likelihood. Yep, Spectre is pretty decent here. Mana Crypt hopefully can help me out here. I like the other 2 cards in my hand. I will not spin. I will counter a Bauble because I don't want them to get a cycle off it. Bauble really is not all that impactful against me, but also Bazaar into Rootwalla could be something that I can use further down the road should I lose my Hollow One somehow. Well, geez, that doesn't seem very good, does it? Bit of a nombo there, the Leyline and the hearse, but okay, that's decent. Does trade. But I got them on a Mana Crypt flip here. I could actually, no, it doesn't matter. Just attack in and they can trade. And I just wasteland their land here. Where this becomes, I'm just not scared. In all honesty, I'm not scared here what they're doing. They could technically, no, that doesn't work. Okay. Mana Crypt's going to kill them here anyways, right? Yep. Hey. One card in hand, so we'll see if they find a creature. How much is this to crew? It's 2 to crew. They can actually equip the Nettle Cyst here, funny enough. Yep, pretty nice. Good comeback. I mean, they top decked a creature. I could have went for Rootwalla there, but I don't really want to play the Cradle. I think I can Bazaar here. Definitely going to kill their Mana Crypt here. Probably kill the Nettle Cyst as well. Let's see what this kills them first. Yeah, all right. Going to kill the Nettle Cyst and the Mana Crypt. That way they had no mana, and this would have likely been a 1-1 if they didn't draw. If they drew a land, it didn't matter, and if they didn't draw a land, they had no mana to cast anything, so that works. But anyways, guys, a nice 4-1 for us there. Played against a couple of Druids decks, which I was not really expecting to play against. Oath has been on a huge decline over the last number of months, and despite winning the NYSC, certainly the deck is good, but Cradlevine is not a deck you want to bring into the Oath of Druids metagame, as you don't really have a ton of interaction. Really, your best card is Besage Force of Vigor against those. But that said, we did lose to a bug deck. That was our only loss, and not a surprise. That could be a bit of a tough matchup. But yeah, anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and please like, comment, subscribe, and